Welcome back, all our 40K fanatics out there. I'm DJ.
I'm Lane.
And we're here with Tim's Nation to bring you another Warhammer 40K battle report. This one is a little bit special because the much-teased tournament we are putting underway. Lane has selected 4 of his factions. I have selected 4 of mine. And we'll be pitting these head-to-head to crown the first Tim's Nation champion, title holder champion. And when I say title holder champion, I actually mean that this will be a championship and a champion that will be competed over the course of the channel. In a way, this is a way for us to be able to showcase other units that you may not usually see in competitive play by having armies that are literally tailored to face the championship army or the army that they're opposed to. So, for example, in today's matchup where it is Grey Knights and Custodes, in another matchup, Lane may be more compelled to specifically build his entire list just to face Grey Knights. Now, in these preliminaries, we're still going to be using a lot of our competitive lists to go through the first rounds of this tournament, as it will be. So today, we'll be featuring the Grey Knights and the new Custodes. How do you feel about these Custodes?
I'm sad for my little golden boys. There's probably some potential in the codex. It's just that GW kind of made it hard to find the synergies and things within the book. They really took all the good things from the one detachment they had and spread them out to 4 different detachments, but didn't add a lot of power back into it. Just took a lot of things and lowered the power level on them. There's probably still potential in this list. We're going to see how it performs today, but they lost their 4-up Feel No Pain to Mortals and Devastating Wounds, which is going to be a big impact into certain armies. I don't think you're going to do, other than like Tank Shock, you don't have that many Mortals you're going to do.
No, nothing.
Yeah, no Librarians in your list. So
No. Shh. Spoilers. We're not there yet, unless they already watched the video that tells our armies, in which case they already know that.
The video we intentionally put out before we do this video.
Exactly.
Okay,
and the video that also I said, yes, I do laundry, and look, I changed my shirt because I realized afterwards when I was recording the video, as I was recording the video and as I was looking at the camera, I'm like, hey, didn't I wear that exact same shirt last week? Not that many people care. I mean, people aren't here for 40K or for fashion. They're here for 40K.
I care. I go through our last 4 or 5 battle reports and check the T-shirts to make sure I'm not wearing the same one too recently. I just bought some new ones, so I got some fresh T-shirts here. But yeah, I pay attention to make sure I don't make the same mistake you did.
Yeah, no, I did. I caught it. But yes, I did laundry. I just like that shirt a lot. I really do.
He smells fine, guys. I'm pretty sure he does.
I smell pretty. I smell very pretty. And speaking of things that are pretty, let's talk about these armies that we're bringing here today. So first, the Golden Boys. Lane, what do you got?
All right, guys. This is Adeptus Custodes. This is the Shield Host detachment. You can check out my my previous video on the actual army itself to go through some of the things that changed. I'm not going to go over that now. I'll just go through this. But there are a lot of things that changed in small ways. But for today, we've got 4 characters. We do have a Blade Champion, and he will have the enhancement, the Panopta specs. We have a Shield Captain on Dawn Eagle Jet Bike. His enhancement is from the Hall of Armories. We do have Trajan Valoris, and we do have Kyria Draxus as well. As far as battle line units, we've got 2 5-mans of Custodian Guard. We have a single 2-man of Alaris Custodians for doing some utility out there. 1 Caladius Grav Tank. If I had more of these, I'd probably bring more of them. We got 1 5-man of Custodian Wardens. A single 4-man of the Prosecutors, Sisters of Silence for some utility play there. 2 3-mans of the Venatari Custodians. And that is my list. DJ, what are you bringing today?
Away from the gold, we're over here for the silver. So today, this is my Grey Knights. Very similar to a list I've run multiple times on the channel because it has been very successful with some minor changes due to the point changes after the data slate updates. So we are still bringing our 3 Nemesis Dread Knights, complete with Side Cannon, Silencer, and Hammer. I like the Silencer for the extra range. We have 2 Grandmaster Dread Knights. The one with the Hammer will have Inescapable Wrath enhancement, so he gets +1 to his charges. And the one with the sword will have the Sigil of Exigence, so when he gets shot at, he can bounce away once per game if I choose to. We have 2 infantry squads. One is a 10-man squad of Purifiers equipped with 4 Incinerators, led by Castellan Cross. They will get +1 to their Purifying Flame. Then we have a 10-man squad of Terminators. Terminators get the Apothecary, and they will be OC3 due to the banner. They will also be led by a Grand Master, given a whopping 3 side cannons to the unit, as well as being able to ignore modifiers, and have a single battle tactic stratagem being used on them once per game for free. The Grandmaster will also have first to the fray, so these guys can deep strike in on turn 1. And last but not least is going to be my Tech Marine. After the point increases, I could not take the Librarian anymore, and it was a very, very difficult decision to make, but I finally dropped him, and I'm bringing the Tech Marine for this list because, well, I got a lot of vehicles, so, you know, I figured that works.
You do, and they're going to take some damage. You're going to need to repair them at some point.
I mean, it was a tough decision because Librarian, he's cool. He is really cool. He does that randomly, just bam, 2d6 mortal wounds. And I could still see him seeing a lot of play. But with the style of my list and with what I'm trying to do and my personal play style, and I can't emphasize this enough, personal play style, he doesn't, on average, if you just go straight down the middle, he does 2d3 mortal wounds on that hit, for 4 mortal wounds on that hit, at 120 points. We're pushing it a bit with that.
And then he's stuck out there, so sometimes he just gets picked right up or gives up an assassinate or something like that.
Right, where the Tech Marine can have lone op near vehicles, land on a deep strike, because deep striking is the thing we do, you know. I don't know if you know that, Grey Knights deep strike.
Yeah, I know.
And
I freaking hate it.
and then be able to do secondaries, mission secondaries, and still play the game outside of that. Not being as aggressive, not as offensive, but still being able to score points and win the game because my Dread Knights are going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting over the course of the game. How many times can I say game in one sentence? Game.
That's what we're here for. We're here for the
Exactly.
game. Everybody's here for the game.
Exactly. And as always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do. Turn on the bell and get notified on all the content we bring here on the channel. We are definitely going to be moving into more content here very, very soon. A lot of changes are going on. I don't want to spoil all of them just yet, but there is a lot of changes, a lot of stuff we discussed. This whole tournament, which we've teased a bunch, and now we're starting out, and we will unveil the championship, which is going to be a surprise to quite literally everybody, even us.
Me included.
Even us, as we're still figuring that part of it out. But we wanted to start this tournament. We wanted to start this to be able to start some good old drama, some good old rivalries between armies and factions. And also, like I said, start to showcase units for armies that may not see play because they're very, very specific and situational against very specific armies. I know that even though we don't have demons active right now, I'm sure when Grey Knights get a codex, they're going to have an anti-demon detachment, and you'll never see that competitively unless it's played against demons. So
if there's demons in your meta, take that one. Right?
Exactly. There was a time, actually, funny enough as it is, there was a sword way back when that was like knocked off Inbone and gave you like crazy strength, crazy everything, and everyone was just like, it was only anti-demon, and demons were very popular, and I took it to Michigan, and I just had one guy with a sword that I could spend that command point and switch it over to that demon sword. And we're like, why would you take that? I'm like, well, there's 27 demon players here. Why wouldn't I take this?
Right.
And man, he was just punching demon princes in the face. When suddenly, when you don't have an invuln, demons died quickly. So all in all, though, with this tournament, this first round, we are still going to be staying on our week-to-week basis for these. After we get done with these, then the semifinals will be every other week, which is when we're going to start to move over to the new schedule, start creating other content, releasing other content here on the channel, and start moving towards all of that new stuff. I've been messing around with some stuff, and I will honestly tell you that some of the stuff that I've been trying, I failed. It didn't work. What I was trying to put out there, it didn't work. You know, learning stuff, sometimes things work, sometimes things don't. And that's why some of the stuff, I have a World Eaters game that's on delay right now because what I wanted to do with it didn't really work out that well. I'm going to give it a couple tries and see with some of the photography and how I want this to happen and that. But I don't know. It happens. It's tough. We're learning some of this, and I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, it's all a learning experience where you learn as we go. So
even in 40K, you know, that's even a learning experience too. How many times we've done stuff and gone, oh, well, that doesn't work that way.
Right.
Well,
I don't think there's ever been a perfect game of 40K. We're all going to make a mistake here at some point. So
shh, they don't know that. But now there's only one thing left to do, and that is to determine who will be deploying first. And Lane, you won our last matchup. You rolled the dice.
All right.
And I'm going to say even, and I'm going to stick to it this time.
I'm going to go with spinning it this last week. Spinning had the best results. So.
And that was odd, and that was destructive. That was super destructive. So you did get your results, though.
Okay. Did you call?
I said even.
Okay,
I said even.
Sorry, I didn't hear you say it. Okay, so we got a 1.
You were too thinking about his spinning. You were just like,
I was just admiring it. It was a good spin.
All right, Lane. Do you want to play first or second?
I'm going to have you drop first.
All right. Well, we'll be back after deployment. Okay. You're deployed, Lane?
I'm deployed.
I'm deployed. So, Lane, why don't you tell everyone what we are doing here today?
We are playing the glorious game of Warhammer 40,000 with these rules. Our deployment is hammer and anvil, so hamburger style. Our mission rule today is supply lines. If you control your deployment zone objective and your command phase, you roll a d6 on a 4-up, you get a command point. And then the mission is just basic Warhammer. It's take and hold. So we get 5 points for each objective we control, up to 15. And that's it.
All right. Very simple, very straightforward. As I pan back over the table, we get over here to the Grey Knights, the Silver Boys. As I always say, silver greater than gold. And we have a couple of units that are not on the table, being my Terminators with the Grandmaster, a Grandmaster Dread with a hammer, and 1 regular Dread Knight. As far as everything else, this Grandmaster is up here on the front lines. This is a tactic that Lane and I have discussed with the Sigil of Exigence. So if I go first, I have a very strong, threatening forward piece. If I do not go first and someone does have heavy weapons that they could hit me with, I can just jump away and get into a safer position. Over here, we got the Purifiers. They're really, really safe behind the template and stuff like that. I could have put them back in a building, but this could be a safety precaution for other units, so I don't need to pick them up off the table. They're already in a good position. For 1 command point, I can give them assault weapons, and that auto advance 6 puts them in a really strong ability to hit 2 objective markers whenever I need to in the point of the game. Tech Marine is back on the home field objective, so we can get that extra CP, or at least try to. And he is safe because there is a Dread Knight right there, giving him the lone op ability because he's within 3 inches. And then another Dread Knight back here because, Grey Knights, we pick up and we just, disappear. If we don't want to be somewhere, we can be somewhere else. So that's it. On to Lane. Lane, what do we got going on over here?
I couldn't hide everything with hammer and anvil. We kind of have to put a few things, they're behind templates here, but this Custodian Guard squad with Trajan's kind of out here ready to move forward. We got the Wardens out here as well. They're led by the Blade Champion. Then we've got the solo Captain on Jet Bike here. Another 5-man Custodian squad with the Kyria Draxus on the bottom floor there. The tank on the home field objective so we can get those sweet CPs. And then 4 of the sisters hanging out over here in case we pull investigate signals and to make DJ spend that CP on the 3-inch deep strike if he wants to deep strike anywhere over here. Other than that, I've got 2 3-mans of Venatari in deep strike as well as the 2-man of the Alaris Custodians, the Terminators. I forgot to mention in my video that nothing is really... I'm not very WYSIWYG. Everything has a spear. So if something has an axe, no, it doesn't. Other than, of course, Trajan, he's got his axe. But using spears is everything. Even though they made improvements to the axe profile, I still think the spear is just better. So the Wardens have spears, the Terminators have spears, and the Venatari have spears.
Real quick, before we roll to see who's going first, do you think that Warden are still going to be... I remember before they were kind of like, they were the target spam unit that you use multiple. Do you think that's still going to be true with this codex?
Yeah, because their 2 rules are really good. They're neg 1 to wound when led by a character, which is strong. And then once per game, at the beginning of a phase, they can just pop off a 4-up, feel no pain to anything. Mm-hmm. So that durability is still there. So I think they're still going to be real prominent.
Is it always neg 1 wound when led by a character, or is it only weapons that have higher strength?
Higher strength. Yeah.
Higher strength? Okay, yeah. Cool. All right, so do you want to go first or second in this matchup?
Either one would be all right, I think. I think probably second just because of the free rapid ingress from the Venatari, which has worked well for me in the past. So probably second for me.
All righty. Well, I will... I'm either or. First is usually nice because of the fact of being able to deep strike on turn 1. Let's let the dice decide. Looks like I'm going first. I think I've gone first the last 3 games.
I think you've rolled nothing but 6s the last 3 games.
Yeah, for going first. Like that's been the hot point. All right. Well, we have no scout moves, no infiltrators, nothing like that. So we'll be back after the Grey Knights movement phase. So we're starting the game heavy. Yeah, since I have that enhancement that allows me to deep strike on turn 1, this capture enemy outpost is not a complete and total wash, and we're going to capture the enemy outpost. So I spent a command point to deep strike with the unit within 3 inches, and that's going to be my Terminators. 2 of them tagging the objective. That gives me OC6, and I will take that objective and score capture enemy outpost.
And they can do that turn 1 because of the enhancement the character has.
First to the fray. Yep. And then over here, the Grandmaster pushed to the center because I had tempting target, and Lane said, here, throw it in the middle. So he tempted me with that target, and we took it away. So that's going to be it for a lot of the Grey Knights. We just got a little bit of shooting. We'll see if we can do any damage with the Grey Knights. We're going to try and pick on some of these Wardens since they're really tough, and go from there. Well, I hope the lemon was worth the squeeze because we did 1 damage. 1 teeny tiny pip of damage. Otherwise, we will score a 13 on secondaries and pass it over to the Custodes and their turn 1.
So the Custodes pulled Storm Hostile Objective and engaged in all fronts. Should be able to get 1 of those. So I took this squad and spread them out and moved them towards the Nemesis Dread Knight and also towards the Terminators. So I got within 9 inches of both of them. I figured DJ is going to proc 1 of them for the miss the Demos. So he missed the Demos, the Terminators away. They're gone. I get my home field objective back. And then this guy's going to stay here. Now, he's got the Sigil of Excellence, Exigence.
Excellent.
Excellent Exigence. So he could pop away if I shoot him. So I'm not going to shoot him. We will just do some charging. Because you don't have any way to run away if I charge you, right?
Nope.
Okay. I'm allowed to charge you. So that's it for my movement. Not going to do any shooting. Just going to do some charges and some fighting. Custodes are here to bonk. So we picked up the Grandmaster Dread Knight. Didn't shoot at him because we didn't want him to pop away and charged in. Of course, the Custodian Guard, when they get on the objective, they're going to reroll all wounds into them. Even though we were wounded on 5, still got enough swings through between both units to obviously finish him off. So took care of him there. And that's it for my turn. On to DJ's.
Over to the Grey Knights turn 2. So a lot of things happened here in the movement phase. Number 1, Lane doesn't like to wait his turn. Apparently he was sick that day in elementary school to learn about taking turns, and he decided to bring in his entire army in my turn.
Says the Grey Knights player, complaining about my rapid ingress.
I did not rapid ingress a single unit this game, sir. But what I did do is I brought a lot of things out of reserve since Lane decided to pick up my poor, sweet, innocent little Grandmaster. We're going to bring some hurting back. So we brought everything in. So I did, for this turn, I have Extend Battle Lines and Assassinate. So
I do want to point out that I did declare, because at the beginning of the battle round is when I declare my Martial Mastery thing. So I did declare that for this turn. So the Custodes are calling the Wah. So that means in DJ's turn and in my turn during the fight phase, my katas pop off on 5-ups instead of 6-ups, and all my close combat weapons get an extra pip of AP.
Alrighty. So I picked up both the Dread Knights that were back here for my Teleport Strike. And then we brought in a Dread Knight. So this Dread Knight is actually on top because I didn't want Lane to bring in his Venatari and stuff in the backfield and get all nasty with it. So I decided to put one there protectively. And then we got these Dread Knights here. All 3 of them, the trilogy, have many options. We have the Wardens here in the center. We also have the Custodian Guard over here that have Trajan with them, which is a character I could pick up for Assassinate points. We also have this character over here, the Shield Captain on Dawn Eagle Jet Bike, that my Grandmaster and his Terminators are going to come in there and try and see if they can't do some damage to him. So we got some work in there. And then I did spend a command point for the give them assault weapons and +1 to hit this turn. I did not advance with these guys, so I'm still able to charge them. But I wanted that +1 to hit so I could bring maximum anti-infantry fire from the Purifying Flame onto these Custodian Guard. So we have a lot of shooting. Oh, and I did bring in the other Grandmaster. This one is the one with the +1 to charge to be able to try and maybe land a charge over here into the Wardens when we get to that point of the game. So we do have a lot of shooting to do. I will make note, Lane did rapid ingress. He spent a command point to bring in the Lars Custodes over here. These two little guys hanging out back here in the corner. And then the Venatari, which can rapid ingress for free, even if rapid ingress has been used, popped in back here. Won't be able to shoot at those units, but they're on the table. So we are currently all on board. But, with Grey Knights, that doesn't mean anything. And we're going to do a lot of shooting, and we'll see how much of these golden boys I can pick up off the table, and we'll take a look at that here in a second. So did a little work. I would have liked to do a little more, especially with the purifiers, since Lane decided to make every single save off my purifying flame. That was painful.
Listen, several Custodes have died, and I've lost 5 Custodes so far in the shooting phase. So
I don't want to hear it. They all should just die. Over here, we did a little bit of damage to the shield captain. Not expecting much. I was hoping a side cannon or two would hit through for the multi-damage, but we got some damage through bolters. And then over here, like I said, we put most of the guard away, and this guy's got 2 wounds left. It's kind of hard to see. And then Trajan's still at full health. So Crow and company are going to come in there. And then we did put a lot of damage through from the Dread Knights. They were the ones who actually picked up quite a bit from this squad. They did a lot of work into there, and then picked up one of these guys. Unfortunately, that is going to make this charge a little bit longer, but considering Lane's spicy dice rolls, I'm hoping for some spicy dice rolls myself. So, all right, let's do some charging. So in combat, we were not able to finish off Trajan here to get our assassinate. We charged, we punched, we kicked, we clawed. We dropped Trajan down to 3 wound. He popped his once per game 2 up invuln. So at least that's out of the way. And the Custodian Guard are out of the way. But Trajan's still standing there. And he went punch back. He did not punch back very efficiently, I will say that much. And only picked up 2 purifiers. Lucky me, because Trajan rolled a lot of ones. Over here, Lane decided to interrupt to fight my Terminators first. He did pick 1 up. And the Terminators also picked up 1 model. That 1 model being the shield captain on Dawn Eagle Jet Bike. So yay, assassinate. So that would be a 10 on secondaries with extended battle lines. And assassinate. We did not land any of the charges with the Dread Knights, so they are kind of exposed at the moment. But they're Dread Knights. They're tough. They got it going on. So now it's going to be over to the Custodes and see what these Venatari decide to do that are hiding over here in the corner. Actually, I really can't say they're hiding. They just landed. They just got here. They just arrived to the party. They're parking their car. Let them get inside. All right. Over to the Custodes and their turn of whying.
So we pulled Overwhelming Force and Cleanse. So these Kyria Draxus rolled her thing where it protects her squad and makes them so they can't be shot outside of 18. But she rolled a 1, so she took D3 mortals, which is 3 mortals. So she hurt herself pretty bad. That was a bummer. And then the Caladius moved up into the ruins. We're counting this as something you'll be seen through, so he will be able to see out and shoot the Terminators hither. Trajan stayed right there. He's cool with that. The Wardens stayed right there. Terminators scooched up a little bit on that objective. And then Venatari swooped over here. That's it for the movement. I'm going to do some shooting, and we'll see if I can kill anything. All this stuff that's got these 2-up saves. All right, so she shot some Terminators away. They do heal 1, right?
Yeah, I get to put a model back.
Yeah, so killing them good. The tank picked up a couple. This squad shot twice. They reroll wounds because they're on an objective. Kyria gets to shoot twice as well, and I spent 1 CP to give them sustained. So we did chew through some of this Terminator brick. 1 will come back, but cutting it down by half is good work. Other than that, shooting didn't really do anything. No damage to the Dread Knights or anything. So now we're in charge.
Tech Marine, though. Venatari Tech Marine said no, not doing this.
Yeah, Venatari shot a Tech Marine. He's got 2-up armor, so he tanked it all. He's fine. He's fine.
All right.
He's fine for now. On to my fight. Time to punch. It's time to wall with the Custodes. All right, so fight phase, we wiped out the Purifier squad, but Crow still survives. It does give us a score for Overwhelming Force because we did kill a unit that was on an objective. Oh, we killed the Tech Marine too. He was on the objective, right? Or was he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
he was.
So we killed the Tech Marine. Got this Nemesis Dread Knight Grandmaster down to 2 wounds. He slapped back and picked up 1 of them. And then the Alaris Terminators who charged in here got this one down to 2 wounds as well. But he slapped back and picked them both up. So lots of damage taken here. I don't think I have a whole lot of assets left, but I'm making it kind of, well, no, he's still scoring well in primary. So on to DJ's turn.
For the Grey Knights, we're looking at bring it down and secure no man's land. So standing still, we secure no man's land. But we don't want to stand still. We want to finish some stuff off, and we did not pick any units up this turn. Instead, we fell back with Castle and Crow, and now we got 2 Dread Knights ready to shoot at the Wardens, and then 1 Dread Knight ready to charge in. Could be a tank shock in his future. The Terminators brought one of their guys back and are trucking in the middle to also start fighting those Wardens if need be. And then over here, we have the Dread Knight, the regular Dread Knight came down, and we're going to start shooting at some of these Venatari, try and clear these 3 guys out of here, and then hopefully charge to finish off the last 2. So we got some work to do. Bring it down is probably going to turn into a command point at the end of the round since I could not score off my home field. And I'm just going to try and secure no man's land and pick up as many of these golden boys as I can. All right, let's do some shooting. So this was a turn we kind of just moved it right along because the shooting didn't do very much. I mean, we hit a war. I think we picked up like a warden or 2. Actually, we did pick up 2 wards. We did a little bit of damage in there, which was nice. But the Venatari just absolutely walled everything. I couldn't even hit them. So then we charged, and that's where the story of where everything starts to change, the landscape of the game actually changed. So the Terminators successfully made their charge, and so did this Dread Knight. The Dread Knight whiffed, but the Terminators, I did the once per game 0 CP for dev wounds, and picked up the Warden and the Blade Master who were remaining pretty wholeheartedly. Then over here, we charged in the Venatari and did nothing. Just
So you tank shocked.
I tank shocked for 2 damage. As Lane reminds me, he's like, after you do the mortal wounds, I can decide if I want to use a strat. And did 2 mortal wounds, and he's like, yeah, well, I don't need to do that. So yeah, and then we smacked with a hammer and did nothing. So you may be wondering, why are there so many Venatari gone then? It's because this Dread Knight, the Grandmaster, died, and he exploded. And when he explodes, he did damage to his buddy, who also ate a spear to go down to 7 wounds, and then damage to these Venatari, and then damage to them. So there's 1 squad is down to 2, 1 squad is down to 1. So that is going to finish off the Grey Knight turn. We will bring it down for a command point, but we will score a 5 on secure no man's land because we do control 2 objectives in no man's land. All right, kicking it back over to the Custodes, and their turn 3, right? We're on 3?
Yep.
Yeah. All
Bottom
right.
of 3.
Bottom of 3.
Hold tempting target in area denial. That's not good for Custodes this turn.
All
DJ tempted me. He tempted me with this one, and it's the middle. And so, yeah, that's not going to happen. And then I moved these Venatari over here, and then I was Overwatch for my troubles. And the 2 Venatari that were left were picked up with this kind of Overwatch.
He hit 3 shots with a side cannon. Couldn't hit in the shooting phase, but Overwatch, there you go.
Yeah, failed all my saves. So, yeah, that about does that. So we're going to shoot a little bit and then charge. Not a whole lot. I don't really have anything left on the table, so we'll see what happens. We picked up a couple Terminators in shooting and then charged in the Custodian Guard here, and they finished off the Terminators, leaving the Grandmaster characters, leaving them still alive there. But at least I got the tempting target. I did take this one. I do control it now. And then this critter over here killed my last Venatari. So really all I have left on the table is these guys, my little tanky poo, and my girls. We did sticky of this objective for a CP, so I don't know if I mentioned that or not. But yeah, that's it. So I got 5 for tempting target. That's it. On to DJ's turn.
So for this round, it was defend stronghold and no prisoners, and this went relatively quickly. So we just stayed home. We didn't pick anybody up, nothing crazy. We just fell back with the Grandmaster to get out of line of sight of the tank, and then we just shot and obliterated that squad in the middle with both the Dread Knights and Crow and his special little Purifying Flames. So we got 4 points on no prisoner. We'll score defend stronghold. I did spend my command point for the round to pitch investigate signals and to defend stronghold. So that was really it for the turn. There was really nothing else exciting. I didn't really do too much. I just wanted to clear the squad in the center, and we're going to kick it over to Lane.
Bring it down to defense stronghold. So I moved the Caladius out, shot down here at this guy. But he gets cover and DJ True Silvered, so I failed to pick up the guy with 2 wounds left. I even spent the CP on the sustained hits for shooting. I got a couple sustained, but just wasn't enough. DJ made all his saves. He did have to spend a CP and a reroll to make one, but that's it. The girl scooched over here. I sticky this objective, so if DJ wants to take this from me for my defense stronghold, he will have to deep strike and then make a 9-inch charge. Because even if he shoots them off, the objective is sticky and I still control it. So on to DJ's turn.
We are soaring through this game because, as Lane put it, he doesn't have many assets left, so there's not a whole lot to recap except the basics. So I have engage on all fronts and deploy teleport homers. So I did pick up Crow at the end of the turn, being that he can 0 out 1 damage result, seeing what we got. And since we had deploy, we dropped him over here to get 1 point on, and also for the engage. So we're engaging with Crow as well as deploying teleport homers. Lane forgot the fact that, as he said, my army does a lot of crazy stuff, and my Dread Knight was able to...
That's not what I said. I used swear words, TJ.
But we will keep it off. That will keep it friendly. And the Dread Knight actually was able to advance and still charge. So he advanced up over here and charged and blasted the Sister of Silence. He did a shoot over here and hit the Caladius and was able to do 6 damage to it. So, as a start. We moved the Dread Knight over here away because we wanted to get engaged on all fronts over in this corner. So in order to do so, we had to move, and we got overwatched, and we're still alive, but we got overwatched. Then over here, the Grandmaster just danced over here to the side. So we were able to get engaged on all fronts for this corner over here, this Dread Knight over here, and then last but surely not least, this Dread Knight jumped over here. Because you can get, then since those objective markers are in the center and there is a little bit of range on them for the 3-inch, you can still tag them and get engaged on all fronts. It's just tricky. So he did the same thing. So we were able to get 5 on engage. We were able to get 5 on deploy teleport homers. And now we're going to pass it over to Lane and the Custodes' turn. So Lane kept bringing it down to defend stronghold because he didn't anticipate the Dread Knight crashing into the center. And he wanted to, there's vengeance, there was blood in the water, and Lane just wanted murder, and did he ever. So the Caladius moved over, tagged the objective, was able to get a little bit of line of sight right down the middle, spent the command point on True Silver Armor, got cover, and it still wasn't enough. 3 wounds went through, 1-1-2 was the dice, and the Dread Knight went away. So this ends the game. Lane did get the bring it down points, but the Grey Knights... The secondary game for the Grey Knights was very strong, and then we were able to pick that primary up at the end. For a final score, Grey Knights 90, Custodes 59. All right, guys, follow us over the post-game. We'll talk to you a little bit about this matchup and some of the stuff on the Custodes and what it all looks like. And thanks for watching. We'll talk to you again real soon.